So without any further delay, let's kind of dive right into the session this evening and what we're going to talk about. Buying a home is a complicated process. In today's market, there are about 43 people from 13 different industries who put their hands in the pot of a real estate transaction. And every one of them has their own agenda. Each one of them needs to be paid for their services. And knowing to what to look for and look out for is really key in helping you kind of save both time and money on your real estate transaction. And so as we dive into the 5 mistakes this evening, we thought we'd start the conversation, talk a little bit about the real estate market. What you're seeing here on your screen is actually an overview of the process. And Brian, you want to kind of share a little bit about this overall process?
Yeah, Brett, I'd love to share about this. I invented this flow chart because I found early in my career that most of my clients were engineers and they loved flow charts. So I came up with this flow chart to really speak to the engineer about the entire process. And any good engineer knows that if you skip a step, usually you have a result that doesn't amount to what you want. So I've put this thing together in a several step format. And this is a brief overview, but certainly we believe that preparation is a key aspect of doing the home purchase correctly. And so here's a quick overview of the whole process.
So the second mistake I'll kind of chime in here about is really one that we see common with some homeowners is they get excited about the process, they start looking at properties online and really kind of go and start writing offers on property and they're not really prepared yet. And that is one of the things where it will cost you is that if you're not adequately prepared when you're going out in today's market, both armed with the information about the market, knowing what kind of market that you're up against, because the bottom line is now with inventory being low, the best deals go fast and they have multiple offers. So you really need to have your ducks in a row, your I's got to be dotted and your T's crossed, and make sure that you've got somebody assisting you who has the skills to basically land the property that you really are going after.
For sure. So one of the parts of that is financing, and we'll get into that in a second. But if you're competing against a lot of cash buyers, you definitely want to have your financing all in place so that you can compete with cash buyers. Sellers tend to like transactions that they're guaranteed to close, and a cash buyer is more likely to close than a buyer that needs financing. So the way you can get better and make yourself look better in the eyes of a seller would be to get your financing in place and get it ready to go.
Absolutely. One of the things you're also going to want to do is make sure you're getting access to properties as they come on the market, if not before. A good agent will help you get set up so you should be able to subscribe to MLS property alerts to ensure you're getting all the best properties as they come on the market. And they may even, if you're working with the right people, maybe even able to get you what we call pocket listings or off-market opportunities. And those times sometimes sweeten the pot for buyers when you're looking for properties out there.
Absolutely.
As we talked about, in order to act quickly, what you're going to want to do is get pre-approved for financing before you actually start the buying process, not just pre-qualified. There's a difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. Pre-qualification, typically they're just going to run your credit and they may have you fill out a short form, but you don't necessarily need to provide all your documentation. Whereas a pre-approval, you're going to provide your tax returns, bank statements, and they're going to do really a thorough financial review on you before they actually will give you a commitment letter that they absolutely will give you a loan. The difference for you as a buyer is when you're going out in the marketplace, if we're competing for properties, which it is very competitive right now, we want to make sure that you're able to put your best foot forward. So, I'll ask those of you who are online, if you think about it, if you were a seller and you received 2 offers on a property, both for the same price, say $500,000, and one person is just pre-qualified and the other person is pre-approved, which one are you going to pick? Well, obviously you're going to pick the one that's fully pre-approved. And so it can make the difference between making or breaking a purchase for you as a buyer. So that's one of the things. It gives you a stronger offer. And with a stronger offer and better terms, you have a higher percentage chance of getting the property that you really want.
Yeah, a seller wants to sell a house to somebody that will actually close. And it's more likely to close if you're pre-approved. So you just look stronger in the eyes of the seller.
And then one of the other things, sometimes people do put the cart before the horse. You get excited about seeing properties online. You get out in neighborhoods and and then come to find out maybe they don't have the best schools, and this raises other issues. And I know, Brian, you've worked with a number of buyers and helped alleviate that process. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. That is the buyer checklist. I think it's on our next slide, is it?
Mm-hmm. It's just getting clear on.
Can you throw that one
There
up
we
there?
go.
There we go. And yeah, so the wants and needs checklist is a document that I've used over and over again. And there's several things that the wants and needs checklist will accomplish. It'll save you, by using the wants and needs checklist, you'll save yourself countless time and money. And number one, it gets a couple on the same page, a husband and wife or spouses on the same page as to what they're looking for. So using the wants and needs checklist, each spouse would go to a different room and fill out the form as to what they're looking for in a property. Husband fills out one, wife fills out another. We pour each other a large glass of wine, and then we come together and we try to do one for together for what the husband and wife both want. The other thing, once the husband and wife fill out this document, or the couple, or even if you're an individual, when you fill out this document, you have a clear idea of what you want when you're perfectly logical. You haven't started looking for a house. Once you start looking for a house, you get insane. And you tend to lose a little bit of the logic that you just had when you filled out this form originally. So this is your baseline. This is what you guys want when you go out and look for a house. The next thing that this document allows is that you hand over this document to your quality realtor, and your realtor will use that as a listening tool. A realtor needs to understand what it is that you're looking for so that they can best find that property for you. And if you've got this document filled out, your realtor can use it as a listening tool to make sure he or she is showing you the properties that you want. And there's a couple other.
I think that's an important point to note is that, the job of a good real estate consultant or realtor in helping you purchase a home is, one, helping them clarify their goals, but number two, as you started to indicate, it's an emotional process. He used the word insane, but it is an emotional process, and sometimes logic goes out the window. And so it is a tool that we can use, as professional consultants to help people stay on track with what their goals really are. If a house is a great house, but the main priority that we talked about when we sat down together was great schools, we want to make sure that we hold you accountable to what you really want, and make sure that we don't get sidetracked by things, and that helps in the process.
So this is also a working document. So this checklist is going to change over time. While you're looking at a property, when you were perfectly logical, you filled this out and you wanted a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. But as you started looking, potentially you decide that you're willing to accept maybe a 2-bedroom, 1-bath to get into the neighborhood you want, or vice versa. You end up saying, no, we really need a bigger house. So that document is going to change over time. The other benefit to the document is it's a great buyer's remorse tool. We've talked about the fact that this is an emotional process. When you buy anything, it's human nature to get emotional about it. And so when you're buying a house, the emotions kick in a big way. And the day I call you and tell you, hey, congratulations, you bought a new home, you're going to, for about a half a second, you're going to be excited and you're going to be really grateful and you're going to be very fired up. And about a half a second after that, you're going to get buyer's remorse, because we all do. It's a normal reaction to anything. When we purchase anything, buyer's remorse kicks in. This document, the wants and needs checklist, is going to be something you can go back and review, and it'll help you sleep that night, because you'll be thinking about, you'll call your parents maybe and you'll tell, hey, we bought our first house. And your parents will say, how much did you pay? And you'll tell them, and they'll go, oh my gosh, are you crazy? Your colleagues will all think that you're overpaying, and all these other sources will come into your life and make you potentially remorseful about it. But I think referring back to the wants and needs checklist, verifying this is the house you wanted at the price you wanted, it'll help you sleep at night and help you get lots of sleep and rest assured that this is the right decision and it's the right house for you.